Oh, thanks.
Happy
No.
birthday.
For those who don't know,
Assuming we didn't tell the story, I'll keep it short though, just in case. Um, me and Brad visited this small church one time with another friend of ours. And like on someone's birthday, the I think they invited someone up to like the front, and that person like had to start. They're like, it's so and so's birthday today, and they're like, everybody just like doesn't react at all, and then they just automatically go into the song where everybody's like, "Happy birthday," and then everybody's like, "Bleh." And
it was more depressing than that. It was always like,
was it?
Yeah.
I think it depended on the person, but like no one laughed, like no one acted like they thought it was weird or out of the ordinary. So me, you, and Zach were just dying in a row. So now every time it's like one of our birthdays, that seems to always come up. What have you been up to? It's been like a month since we've done a podcast. That's basically the last time we've talked.
It's been over 2 months, David.
Oh my gosh, time flies.
Yeah, so I was gonna try to get some people on last month to talk about some TV show stuff, but everyone's busy. That's also why my birthday was so depressing, because everyone's busy.
That's really sad.
But we'll hopefully get that episode done later. But yeah,
Wished you a happy birthday.
you did. Everyone
From far away.
Everyone wished me a happy birthday. It was fine.
It just wasn't happy.
Yeah.
We're getting old too. That doesn't help.
Yeah, I mean, the older you get, the less you want birthdays in the first place. So
Yeah, because the older we get, the faster our hopes and dreams die away. For me, anyways.
Well put. So yeah, I didn't really do much on my birthday, but the following weekend is my siblings Spencer and Savannah's birthday on September 11th, and so we all got
Happy
together
birthday.
as a family for them, because they're more special than me.
Well, I mean, obviously.
But it was their 21st, so that's mostly why.
That's
so
cool.
It was a big.
Yeah, time really flies, man.
21.
That must be nice.
Yeah. So other than that, I do plan on moving next week. So that's kind of exciting and stressful at the same time.
Man, your life sucks.
I'm really excited to move because the place I'm moving to is
terrible.
It's gonna anything.
Oh, moving from or to?
Well, okay. The situation is my lease ends here next week on Thursday, and then
this apartment has issues.
It has so many issues that we've discussed in length on this podcast.
My favorite is still the bathroom door not closing.
Yeah, it's still like that. That was the latest thing. Other than people like getting arrested and stuff.
I actually saw someone, sheriff pulling up when I walked in.
Oh.
Probably serving some kind of warrant or something.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't at my door this time, so. Which I don't think I told that on the podcast yet. I think I just told you guys.
Yeah,
after the podcast.
I remember you telling me, but I don't think it was on here.
Yeah, so the person that lived here before me apparently got evicted and was, I'm assuming he was on the run, because.
So he was fit.
Oh, he had to be very fit.
A lot of running.
Yeah, you can't just run for your life without being fit.
The older I get, the worse the jokes are too. Sorry.
Called the dad joke.
Continue.
You're not even a dad yet.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I have a dog.
Yeah. Well, that does count. Yeah. That dog is a child. But yeah, I would get like these giant thick packets, just like not stapled to my door, but it would be like wedged into my like door, so I would clearly see it when I would like walk in, and it was just like a warrant being served, to not to like not to my apartment, but to find this guy that used to live here. And there was either that or it was like a court hearing packet of him, like he needed to like show up in court, or like he had an arrest warrant out for him or something like that. So it happened like for the first like 3 or 4 months that I lived here, and then it just stopped.
And so I take it the whole time you were worried that some of that guy's enemies
Yeah,
may
like
show up at the door.
yeah, his whole world was probably not, done with this apartment. Who knows if they knew that he was gone. So yeah.
Yeah.
Luckily that never happened that I know of.
It would have been so funny if they would have served like a no-knock warrant.
Yeah.
Actually, it wouldn't be because, I feel like you might have fought back not knowing who
Yeah,
was
that would
breaking
not
into
that would
your
not have
house.
ended well for anybody. Would have been a bad situation.
Yeah.
I do have weapons on the premises. And when you live in a neighborhood like this, like your first instinct is going to be like, oh, someone is clearly breaking in. Like I'm always constantly worried that my like the sliding glass door there is going to be like broken into because it doesn't lock very well.
Yeah.
I can say that now because I'm moving.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't care who knows it now.
Come rob him now, guys.
Yeah.
He's leaving.
So yeah, this apartment's just garbage. So I'm moving up north farther
Yeah, we're
to Noblesville.
yeah, I think okay, yeah, we talked about that.
Yeah. Like the south side of Noblesville. So I'm excited for that. I've always loved Noblesville. I always wanted to live there. So either that or Fishers. And so
Very cool.
excited for that. But so the
Congrats.
situation, thank you. The situation is my lease is up on Thursday, but my new lease doesn't start until the following Wednesday.
That math doesn't add up.
Well, been a year since I moved in here. I moved in on
I know. You're going to be
22nd.
homeless.
Yeah, so I'm living with my parents for a week.
Living the dream.
Mom, if you're watching this.
They've probably got a lot more space there than they used to.
Yeah, they actually
It'd
have
be a lot quieter.
Yeah, they have a spare bedroom, and Olivia's gone at college.
I was going to say you don't have to call anybody out, but how many people are still living there right now?
Since Olivia's gone, and it's just the twins. So 2 dogs and 2 cats.
And it's going to feel empty compared to
I mean,
when you were growing up.
well, yeah, definitely compared to when all 8 of us were there, but yeah, it's going to be interesting. But that's going to be kind of a good segue into my next point, or my next story, is my vacation that I took with them. We lived in a house together for a whole week down in South Carolina.
No one murdered anyone else?
No, it actually went really well for the most part.
It's really special to still do that. Like the kids are all not kids anymore. So it's cool that you guys.
Yeah. Well, yeah,
that.
there were kids involved because of Courtney's 2 kids. So
Oh, that's wild. Yeah, she's got the cutest kids too.
So that was really fun because we don't obviously get to see them very often. Usually
Where
only
do
Christmas.
they live? Like one of the Carolinas or something? Or
They
are
live
out
in
west?
Virginia.
Okay.
So their trip over there wasn't quite as long as ours was, but yeah. So we were all just in a beach house together, and so it was.
That's so cool.
It wasn't bad.
Was it mostly relaxing on the beach? Kind of the main part of the vacation?
Yeah, so we didn't really have anything scheduled, so we just kind of chilled, and like the house was like a really, really nice house, and it was really big. And like my parents saved up throughout the year to like pay for this. So it wasn't like something we do very often. We haven't gone on family vacation in years. At least I haven't.
Yeah.
But yeah, we kind of just went to the beach, went to the pool, it was really hot, so I didn't go to the beach very often
Kind of
because
a good vacation for it to be hot.
yeah, but like when it's so hot, like I don't enjoy the beach when it's like s- super like hot and sunny. You're just sitting there baking. I
Yeah,
burn really easily, so that's
yeah.
just not enjoyable to me. So I went out and I burned like within an hour. So I didn't really. I love the beach though. I just prefer
Oh, I do
going
too.
during like the colder months, like spring break or something like that.
Yeah, I'm hoping maybe late this winter to have me and Natalie go back to like Miami or something like that. It was so much fun.
Oh yeah, I forgot you guys did that. Um, but yeah, so we didn't have anything scheduled, so it was like mostly chill. But there was one night when Courtney was like, "You want to go to the beach at night and see if we can find sea turtles?" And I was like, "I mean, we've tried this before, and we've never ever seen anything. And we've seen something once, but it was like we saw it from a distance, and they had like security around this mother sea turtle, and it was like when we were really little.
They had security around it.
Yeah, because they don't want people coming over and like bugging the turtle while it's trying to
Yeah,
lay its eggs.
it's kind of cool.
That happened when we were really little, and since then we've tried to see them, and we've never really like had success with it. But this time we actually were like on the beach, so we had more like easy access to a beach. So we went out there. It was pitch black, like because there was hardly any lights out, and I got a really good picture. I'm not gonna put on here because it's hard to see, but I'm gonna show you some pictures of the other things we saw. Um,
Piqued
we
my interest.
we were out there. It was like pitch black, and we were just trying to find sea turtles because that area of South Carolina is like known for its like huge sea turtle population, where they like come and lay their eggs on the beach, and um, apparently that whole island, we were on an island. It's called Fripp Island, and so like the whole island, like the beach around the whole island is just covered in nests. And so we went out there and immediately, not immediately, but pretty much immediately saw a nest that had hatched. So there was nothing, we could see the eggs that deep down in the hole. And then we saw like hundreds of like little tracks coming out of the hole of the nest. And so we were like, "Oh, they hatched. I wonder how long ago they hatched." And so we tried,
You look over and they're still crawling away.
we followed some of the tracks, and like we couldn't see any like nearby, but we saw tracks going away from the water because they're supposed to lay their eggs like far enough away from the water so the tide doesn't, take away the nest. Which means it's pretty far for like little baby sea turtles to like travel to.
Yeah.
And the way they know which way to go is when the moon is out, and they follow the moon. And so
Crazy.
we saw some tracks
You can
going.
say you don't like the podcast, but you can't say you didn't learn anything today.
You'll learn something else. So we saw some tracks going away from the water instead of to the water. So we followed those tracks, and that's when we found baby sea turtles. And so the reason that they go away from the water is because there's either people that walk by with like bright flashlights, and so they all they see is a bright light, and they think that's the moon, or there's lights in like
Like city lights.
yeah, like city lights or like by the houses, like street lights and stuff. So
that's
they
crazy.
follow those lights instead. And that night there was no moon out.
So they were just
They were
going the wrong
going
way.
blind. Yeah. So we've saved about 15 of them. Yeah.
I mean, it's not as many as I've saved by going to metal straws and paper straws.
Well, yeah.
I probably
Oh, yeah.
sea turtles.
You're gonna
It's pretty
plug
cool.
some like super random foundation that you just made up, like freetheseaturtles.org or something like some weird segue to a sponsorship. Not as many as I've saved by donating to freetheseaturtles.org.
No, that's really cool. So did you like pick them up and walk them to the water?
Yeah, so the first one that I saw was in the claws of a crab being eaten alive, and it was still
It's like a
alive.
metaphor for my life.
Crab?
It feels like it.
My life is in the claws of a crab. Um, but I like went up and like basically tried to fight the crab because like you're not gonna eat the sea turtle. So I like kicked it and it
So
dropped the turtle.
you realized you basically killed the crab to save the turtle.
I didn't kill the crab, but I would have.
It's fair.
Because they're here, I'll show some pictures. I've got some pictures here. Um there's this is one of the crabs. So there was like hundreds of these little crabs. They're called ghost crabs. Um just around the beach, just waiting for these turtles to hatch.
Gross.
And the like you could see they like blend
Its
in.
eyes.
Yeah, they're so weird looking.
Now I understand why Mr. Crab's eyes look the way they do.
You never seen a real crab before?
Look at look at the way its eyes really do poke out
Yeah,
so far.
yeah. Their
I'm-
their claws aren't quite as like big and meaty as Mr. Krabs.
Big, meaty
Claws. Yeah. But they were like vicious and they would have all these little holes that they would like retreat to if you get too close.
So now, do the crabs typically like stay underground during the day then?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm safe to go back to the beach.
Yeah, because we were on that beach throughout the week during the day and we never saw these crabs. But then
Just all over the place.
all
at
of a
night.
sudden at night you see just like hundreds of holes and like they'll like pop out. Um oh yeah, them moving. They're like super like skittish.
Jeez. That's crazy. I don't think I've ever seen crabs. Like I've not even seen videos of them.
Really?
Yeah.
They're super creepy.
Yeah.
Like little
They're like
bugs.
yeah, they're like spiders, but
Yeah.
almost worse.
Yeah.
That's yeah.
So
I'm clearly not very cultured.
yeah, so there's just so many. Some of them were big, some of them were small. But this was the nest. They had it blocked off. Just so like like raccoons and like other crabs couldn't get the actual eggs. But then when they like hatch, you see all the tracks. Like they just pour out of there.
Yeah, I think I've seen pictures of like turtle tracks and stuff
Yeah.
before, but I've never seen like videos of crabs moving around like this. I think.
So this was the one that was in the claws of the crab and it was still alive and it was like moving and stuff, but I took it to the water and tried to see if it would just swim away and it would just like raise its head above the water to like breathe and just like
Thanks for ruining my day.
well, we saved 14 other ones, okay? So,
Dare I ask what you did with it? I don't want to know.
I left it. So it probably got eaten. Because even when we were like bringing them to the water, you would see the crabs like
Just follow me.
sprint into the water. Like,
That's insane.
I really hope most of them got out, but
I guess that's nature for you.
yeah. Oh, you can kind of see it
Dang,
moving.
they're tiny.
Yeah, they're really small. For how big they get.
Yeah. Is that the one you left for dead?
He's got like blood on him.
That's really sad. Thanks for ruining my day.
Yeah. So,
You might have made it.
some people might judge us for like messing with the turtles, like even if we were saving them, and for using bright flashlights, but
Why?
because it will blind them. They were really bright. It's like you're not supposed to like do it with like human babies either, because it'll like blind them if you like super bright lights. Um,
Didn't know that.
yeah. This is why you're not a father yet.
That and a lot of other reasons.
um, but
I just realized for anyone not like watching this video, like this is terrible podcasting. Just terrible. We're really bad at this.
well, that's
They
why
can get over it.
you should watch instead of listen.
Yeah.
Anyways,
That's cool.
yeah. So that was like one of the like best moments of like any vacation I've ever had is like saving freaking sea turtles. 'Cause they're my favorite animal. So
That's pretty cool.
so
My favorite animal's penguins.
those get eaten by lots of things.
Just have to save it from the mouth of a polar bear.
Yeah, or like an orca whale
Or anything else that can kill you.
they're like the chicken of the ocean. Like everyone wants it because it's so good.
That's a really interesting way to describe it. Chicken of the ocean.
Yeah, penguin chicken of the ocean. So, yeah, I was just making sure I didn't like
Yeah, I was looking over some
forget
of that
anything
too.
that I put in there. But how have you been? How was tour? How was
Really good.
re-assimilating into normal life?
So, tour went really super well. I guess I can start off with this, but I do really want to thank, I mean, first, just anyone who's ever supported me, the band, throw the podcast in there. It really means more than I can hardly describe. So then especially like thank you to anyone who brought us out for a show, anyone who came to a show. I'm literally getting to live out a dream of mine. Not a lot of people can leave for 3 or 4 months and come back and
Yeah.
not be completely broke and have a home to come to. And the fact that I can do that blows my mind. Obviously, we want to grow it, but if we never grew more than where we're at now, like I will forever be grateful to everybody that's helped make it happen. That being said, I'll keep it a lot more brief than the last tour update, but a couple just, I mean, every tour has like just interesting, weird, or funny things happen.
Yeah.
So one that stuck out, I think I've mentioned this before on here, but kind of our strategy to keep costs down on the road. Like we almost never stay at hotels unless it's way too hot or way too cold to sleep in the van. So we typically stay at like truck stops, or we have Planet Fitness memberships. So, you know, we can shower at Planet Fitnesses. And so a lot of times we'll sleep in their parking lots. So we stayed at a Planet Fitness one night, and it was in a mall parking lot. And we got in pretty late, probably close, like maybe 1 a.m. Can't remember the exact circumstances. Like I think it might have been a show day. Like I think we had a show that day. We drove a little bit, and then, anyways, so we parked there at 8 a.m. We wake up to somebody just like banging on the side of the van, and so like,
Told this one already.
did I really? When would this have happened? Natalie was still on the road, so I probably did.
Well, you can
Anyways,
tell it again.
Yeah, I'll wrap it up quick.
For those of you listening in order,
Yeah, I'm
You can
sorry.
skip through this a little bit, I guess.
Anyways, wake up. The guy's banging on the side of the van, and essentially tells us to leave because there's no overnight parking, even though we're members at a 24-hour Planet Fitness that was open.
Yeah. But it was a mall, you said?
Yeah, so like it was a Planet Fitness in a mall. So essentially we got kicked out of there. I'll keep that story brief in case we already told it. Now I'm afraid to tell other
Now I messed
stories.
you up.
Well, no, I'm afraid because I wonder what else I messed up and I already shared. But another thing we it seems like every time we have some sort of a mechanical issue on the road, I I don't know why. It seems like we always have an issue, and then the first place we decide to pull off just happens. There's like one time we were having severe brake issues in the mountains because we're pulling all this weight. We're going downhill. Rotors got really hot and warped, and so the whole van was like shaking really bad. Um, we're struggling to get it slowed down. And finally we're like, we've got to stop because I'm not real mechanical. Like I didn't necessarily know like, oh, these are like, we're ruining our brake rotors or what. But anyways, so we just pulled off at the first place we could find. And then like, we look at where we're at and we're like, oh, this is a diesel mechanic. And so we talked to the guy there. But anyways, that was not on this tour. This time it was much more simple than that. We had a headlight go out. So we pull off to there's like a McDonald's, and next to there there's like a Napa or some auto store. So we buy the headlight, start taking like the front end off of the van I've never replaced a headlight on the van. I've done it on my car. Completely different ways to do it. One, the car has like a bulb. The van, you replace the entire light.
Yeah.
Had never done it before. And it's like 100 degrees outside. And as I'm like trying to like get the light bulb changed, this random guy pops his head out, like opens this window, like pops his head out, and he's like, "What are you guys doing over there?" I look over and it's a mechanic. We're parked next to a mechanic. And we were like, just trying to change his headlight. I've never done it on this before. And he just talks me through how to, he even like tosses out a couple tools to me that like I needed to make it easier. So he taught me how to, like, someone came out of the McDonald's drive through and like gave us like free water. Like someone that was working at McDonald's, they saw clearly we looked pitiful. But it was really cool.
Wow.
Really, there's really, really cool people out in the world.
So shout out to that random mechanic guy.
Yeah, I actually, I'm not going to worry about showing it on the podcast, but I took a video of the place to try to, I'll show it to you later. I would show it here, but it's going to be a pain. Should have prepped that ahead of time. But to kind of show the area, because it's just like to see like the window next to the van that this guy literally, I think at one point, like he walked all the way out of the window, like it was a big window and he just like stepped out of it. Like, it was funny.
Like something out of a TV show.
Yeah, just like this older mechanic, super cool guy. Another funny tour story. We had a date in Canada just south of Winnipeg. We've been to Canada once, but it's been a little while. So, anyways, it was kind of a pain getting ready to cross the border, but it ended up being super easy. But so we get up there. We booked a hotel, which we don't normally do if we don't need to, but like one of the things for crossing the border, I think they want to know like where you're going to be at, and it's hard to explain like we're going to be sleeping in the van somewhere. And then it's nice to have Wi-Fi because we don't have cell service in Canada. So anyway, a hotel just made sense. So we get there. Let me back up. messing the story up. Well, I'm not. I'll come back to this. Never mind. I'm bad at telling stories. So we get to the hotel, we get our stuff inside. I'm like, I really need to do some laundry. So I walk out to the desk. I'm like, hey, you guys have laundry machines, right? And she's like, yeah, we've got some. And I was like, and she told me where they were. I was like, so do they take, like, can you pay with like an app, or do they, pay with quarters or what? And she like looked at me for a second, like, this stupid American. She's like, it takes loonies. I was like, oh yeah, I'm American dumb. Loonies, got it. Which now I will always remember that a loonie is a Canadian quarter.
Yeah.
So I felt so unbelievably stupid. But to make it worse, on the way up, the part of the story I messed up, I was like, I was going to look up gas prices and be like, I'm sure it's cheaper in America, but like, I'm going to hop on Google Maps and see. And so we're probably still in Minnesota when I'm doing this. I was like, let's see if we should fill up or try to cross the border on like an empty tank, basically.
Oh.
Look up gas price. And I was like, gas is $1.65 in Canada. And at the time it was like $3.80 or something where we were at. And I was like, there was a solid 2 minutes where I was like, we need to cross the border on E and push it to a gas station to fill up at that price.
Yeah.
And then I come back down to earth and I'm like, why is it so cheap? And then it hits me. And luckily I can say this without I didn't have to look it up. But I was like, I bet it's not by the gallon. Because they don't do things by the gallon in Canada. It was $1.65 a liter, I think. Which is more expensive than what it is in America. So there was another 2 minutes where I was just like a stupid American. That's pretty much all I got for funny, interesting tourist stories. It's good to be home. I got home, and 2 days after I got home, my wife let me know that she had a tree removed in our yard that used to be there, and I didn't notice it was gone. So I'm not very observant. A whole tree was gone in my yard that I pay for.
The front yard?
Side yard.
The side yard.
There's the little privacy fence there. Yeah, there used to be a tree there too.
Huh.
I just thought it was funny. I didn't notice that. I'm stupid fly. Yeah. Anyways, I was trying to think of a funny joke, but I'm not funny. So, and then, so it was nice. Once I got home, I met with family. We go out to eat all the time at Cracker Barrel with my grandma and my mom and both my brothers. And
yeah,
it's really great doing that. I have literally the world's best grandmother. And so the problem with those lunches is recently they have turned into the Comedy Central roast of David Deputy. Here, I'll tell you how it goes.
Sad.
I'll tell you how it goes every time. And it's not my sweet, wonderful grandma that's roasting me, although that would be funny.
That would be acceptable.
Here's how it always starts. We start talking about video games or computers, and then one of these two things comes first where Derek's like, hey, you remember that time where we went computer shopping? And then I have to be like, yeah, Derek, I remember. And he's like, yeah, we walked in, and within 5 minutes, I pointed out the computer that you needed to buy. and then you didn't listen, and we looked around the store for like 5 hours, and then we came back and bought the computer that I told you to buy. And I'm like, yes, Derek, I remember. And then Daniel's like, my turn to roast David. He's like, hey, David, you remember that time when you bought a NASCAR game and you didn't like it and you didn't play it for a few months or a year or whatever, and then you went to a store like a year later and you bought the same NASCAR game not knowing that it was the same one, so you bought the same horrible game twice. And I was like, yeah, Daniel, real funny. Oh, you got me. And then Natalie takes her turn and she'll be like, how about all the times where every single day you spill food all over your shirts? And I'm like, okay, I get it. That's how my family lunches go now.
No.
They're really funny, though.
Is it always the same joke,
Yes.
though? Oh.
Yeah.
That's...
You know my family, of course.
You know, at least 2 of those people are going to watch this.
Yeah.
So maybe things will change.
No, they're going to get worse.
Yeah.
I deserve to be made fun of for all of those things. I actually spilled sauce from a Taco Bell quesadilla on my pants on the way here. And I started wearing a black shirt on pretty much every show day on the tour, because every time I didn't, I would get like grease from production equipment on it, or I'd spill food. Or like one time, when we were in Canada, they have a restaurant up there called Tim Hortons. They're starting to have some more in the US too, especially up north.
There's like 3 in Indy.
Yeah, they're growing in the US too, but they're everywhere in Canada. It's like it's like more popular than McDonald's up there.
Yeah. It's like their Starbucks.
Yeah, and I love Tim Hortons, but they gave me a cup with like the cup was like kind of broken, so like you put the lid on it, and then when I took a drink, like it all leaked out between the cup and the lid and like ruined a white shirt. It's just so I was like, you know what? I'm wearing black shirts every day. I'm just going to be an emo kid from now on. So I mean, even today I'm wearing all black.
Yeah.
Thank goodness, because I spilled stuff all over myself again. I'm a child.
Bring the emo scene back.
Trying. Sort of. Not really.
Never went away in my heart.
But that's a life update from both of us. It's good to be home. It's good to be doing another podcast. I think we're hoping to do this a little bit more regularly.
I just noticed you put food shirts as your note for that story.
Short and sweet.
Food shirts. Like shirts with food on them?
For those of you who don't know, we have, you can't see them. Sometimes you can see them. We've got laptops in front of us to kind of keep us
on track.
Yeah, a little bit. So, and that was my note.
To control everything too.
Yeah, someone's got to, and it can't be me. But speaking of which, that's the update. Like I said, we want to start doing this a little bit more regularly again.
Yeah, now that David didn't abandon me.
Yeah, hoping to grow it some too, so that'll be exciting. Hopefully we'll have some new people checking us out. We haven't really had a chance to really promote or like push this podcast much. We've just been working on content, so hopefully there'll be people around to watch it. By
our decision not to, not because we can't. We're going to.
So hopefully we get some new people in. We enjoy doing it, but there's no reason to record it if people aren't watching and listening. So that'll be good. Anyways, I think you had a few things that you wanted to talk about in the world of tech and gaming.
Yes. I just wanted to kind of talk about, at this point, it's just explaining to you.
I forgot about this dynamic. I'm so like in a TV show, I'm the idiot character. I don't know how to feel about it.
You don't have to be, you know.
The idiot character is usually my favorite.
Just culture yourself.
Nope.
No, because now you have me, right?
Yeah. So I am being cultured, just in front of everyone to see.
I just wanted to talk about the like iPhone announcement and release and everything. The iPhone 14 came out, and I haven't really talked about it on this show, but I'm a big Apple fan, but over the years I've just kind of been a fan of everything. And
I have
some
noticed that change over the years.
it hasn't really been a change. It's just I'm more open about it, I think. Um cuz I feel like this is kind of a tangent, but I feel like everyone in the world is so focused on like being an extremist. And
I
like
second that, and
I think it's natural.
it's with everything.
Yeah.
Politics is the worst,
Well,
but
yeah, we'll not talk about that side of it,
yeah,
but
but
like
it is
with
everything.
everything, like if you're an iPhone user, everyone's just gonna assume like, oh, you only like iPhone, you hate everything else, like, or you've never used anything else, and like, same with Android, same with Windows and Mac and Xbox and PlayStation, and my cat has things to say about that. Um, and so I've never really been an extremist. I've had like phases of when I'm like more interested in one thing than the other, or like stuff like that. But I've always been interested in everything. And like even at this desk right now, you can see I have a Windows PC, I have a Mac, I have an iPad. There's an Android phone over on the other side of the room. Got my iPhone. I have PlayStation, Xbox,
I
Nintendo Switch. Like I have everything because I am just interested in that kind of stuff.
I appreciate that.
So
More people should be like you.
uh, just people need to be more balanced. Is my point. Like don't
Not everything's so black and
yeah
white.
don't have a black and white mentality because it's not healthy or enjoyable to be around, in my opinion. But anyways,
Rant over.
rant over for now. um, so the iPhone 14. At first, people didn't really think it was going to be a big deal. I did get it. Um, I don't get
Ooh.
I don't get the new iPhone every year. It just happened to be the case for like the last 2 years. But
Ooh.
so the big feature that I
It
kind of
looks
wanted to
nice.
show is the dynamic island is what they're calling it, and it's this. They turn the notch into like a little pill, and it like animates depending on what you're doing. So like, there's this game that someone made to like interact with this, and it's like Pong. I think that's what it's kind of like. So you move this and you like try to hit the like the dumbest thing. But like people like developers are like taking advantage of this not this like pill. They call it the dynamic island.
But what is it supposed to be for again?
Oh, well the thing is
Like I
like it
see
has the
the
camera and everything in it.
Oh.
Cuz it used to just be like a big notch.
Yeah.
And so they changed it and
That's kind of funny.
the coolest thing is like it animates and I don't really know how to show so like it'll animate when you're like doing stuff.
That is
Does that make sense?
yeah, that's interesting.
So it kind of just takes advantage of like that giant black space that just kind of took up like unwanted black space and it makes it like more fun and interactive. Um anyways, I just thought that was kind of funny with like there was like games specifically for that feature. Um so yeah, that's I didn't want to dive too much into it because you have no idea what I'm talking about. So
Yeah, but that goes with basically everything. You even know more about my own life than I do part of the time. I remember one time someone asked how old I was, and I said
oh
the
yeah.
wrong answer on accident, and you were there and you were like, "No, you're not." And then you told me how old I was.
Yeah.
Just
I specifically remember that. Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I mean, it's easy for me to remember my birthday, but when you get it wrong, I'm gonna know because you're only like 2 months older than me.
Yeah, that's fair.
So there's only 2 months where you're older than me.
Life is hard.
Um, yeah. So did you want to talk through Madden news?
Yeah, well, not specifically. Madden news. So Madden 23 released. Madden is a game that I play because it's the only NFL game allowed to be made, at least NFL Sim.
Yeah, we talked about that like 2 episodes ago.
Yeah, but so I play it. I don't like it. Well, it has its moments where it's cool and it's fun. Madden 23, no different. It was funny because they promised, like maybe they didn't promise. They basically came out and said that this was going to be like the most polished Madden in a very long time.
Bold statement.
Yeah. And why would you say that when you know it's not? Because then it released and had as many bugs as ever. I played it. I've got the free trial right now and I've put like 30 minutes into it, but I put a little bit more time. It was like released for free for the NFL opening weekend of the season, I think.
Yeah.
But so I played it for free from that. And I'm thankful that they do that sort of thing with the free trial and the free plays and stuff because I was able to play it and realize that it was a buggy mess that I didn't want to play. So I'm not buying it. I'll wait until it's free on EA Play. My biggest issue that's not being talked about enough, in my opinion, is the interception slider is broken. So if you're a Madden fan, like you know you can go in and adjust specific sliders for the games. Like if you want, the computer's run blocking to be better, you can move that slider up. Or if you want the user quarterback to be less accurate, you can turn the QB accuracy down. Like the interception slider is broken to the point where it's not really playable, in my opinion. So, but I did play it. I will say, from the old generation of consoles to next gen, I've got the Xbox
Series S.
Series S. They really needed to do a better job naming those.
Oh yeah.
But it's my first Madden game that I've tried on the next gen consoles, and it does feel better playing it on the next gen. And I would like it, I think, a lot better than the last few years of Madden that I've played if they can clean up the bugs. But it's still just, it's nowhere what it should be. Even if you take the bugs out, it should be a better game by now, and it's not. So, yeah.
Yeah. EA is really struggling.
Yeah. Aren't they maybe going to get bought out?
Ah,
I know this wasn't something we were going to talk about.
yeah, that news kind of broke a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
It was mostly just a rumor, and I think it was kind of there were like talks of it happening. Like EA was like opening themselves up to be bought, and like nobody wants them.
Which is interesting.
I mean, no one wants to spend as much as they were like asking for, I think.
Yeah.
They're not worth as much as they think they are. At this point. Maybe like 5 years ago they would have been top dog, but I mean, they just have way too many issues now. Like all of their big franchises, they're losing FIFA after this year.
Well, technically, they're still going to create the game with a different name.
Yeah, but
from my understanding, I don't follow soccer at all, but from my understanding is losing FIFA is not like if Madden lost the NFL license. Like it's not that severe.
it would be like if they lost the name Madden.
Yeah,
which is big.
Yeah, that is big. You're right. It is a big lot. Anyways, yeah, EA is a dumpster fire. So,
yeah. So,
but they own a lot of things that are worth money. But I see what you're saying. Like a lot of even like their yearly releases and stuff need so much work.
Yeah, they just need to stop.
Yeah, like Madden needs to be rebuilt from the ground up. I don't have a ton of experience with the other games, but I'm sure a
Yeah.
lot of them are
Well,
similar.
one of the biggest issues is this is going on another kind of tangent, but all of their they were forcing all of their studios to make their games on the same engine as the Battlefield engine, the Frostbite engine. And when you're trying to make a sports game out of a shooter engine,
Yeah.
that clearly hasn't been working out for them. Like same with FIFA, it was
Do you know why
forced
they
for that.
do that? Just do they have like a
It's
deal with Frostbite or something?
they made it. It's their
Oh,
engine. That's
man,
why.
that's
So they
so
didn't
stupid.
because with other engines you have to pay them a licensing fee to use their engine
An
after
EA,
after a certain amount of profit
a
at least.
billion-dollar company doesn't want to do that.
Of course not. So that was the main reason. They've been more loose on that recently.
I just wouldn't care. But it's like in the one game, like the one game I want to have is a good NFL football game, and like they're the only ones allowed to make the kind of game that I really want to play,
Yeah.
and they just don't care. It actually is frustrating because there's not many games that really like I'm kind of interested in like the space genre stuff, and like there's other games that can pique my interest, but the one thing that I really want is a good football game, and I'm not going to have it
Not anytime
soon. Yeah.
Unless like some random developer like starts
So someone would have to
something.
make a non NFL sim game,
Yeah.
and no one's going to have the money to do that well. 2K is going to be making an NFL arcade game that will probably have some sim aspects and depth that might scratch the itch for a good football game.
But
Still
who
not
knows
quite what I want.
2K is almost no better
They're
in some ways.
yeah. I would argue that like NBA 2K is, I mean, if you look at it, like NBA 2K is a game that looks and feels like it was made recently. Madden is like worse in a lot of ways now than it was 10, 15 years ago.
Yeah.
That's wasn't expecting that rant today.
Again.
Yeah. It's gonna be a monthly rant.
Yeah, I mean anytime
about EA and Madden.
Anytime Madden's in the news, it's gonna be on this show, I'm sure. But I mean now that it's out, it's probably just gonna have like updates and stuff, hopefully, right?
Yeah, but it's all gonna just be polished stuff.
Yeah.
Like things that should have been done before they released it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the game that I've actually been the only game I've really been playing at all since I got home is Rocket League. That's been a fun one. I'd like to play it with you guys sometime. It's fun when you're playing with friends. Like it doesn't matter if you're good or bad. Like
right.
I'm by far the worst person on our team anytime I play with my brother-in-law and cousin-in-laws. But it's a lot of fun playing with them.
Yeah.
But that's like the only game I have right now that I have much interest in playing.
Did you see that? I think I tagged you in the trailer or something on Discord, but I think you were probably busy. There's a like Rocket League golf game. Like
I don't think I saw that.
it looks like it's like Rocket League because you're in like cars and like giant balls, but it's like golf.
If you did it in Discord, I like got logged out of Discord in my phone and didn't realize it, so I hadn't kept up with it the last few months. But
yeah,
that's interesting.
I think it's on Game Pass, so we might have to like try it out.
Maybe tonight.
Yeah, we'll see.
That actually sounds like fun.
So I realized I completely skipped the main topic here, but
yeah, and we'll get into that, and then we might be running a little low on time, but we might have time to get through all of this.
Yeah, I'm not going to spend too much time on this main topic. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. Basically, they had their like Call of Duty Next event a couple days ago, where they just revealed pretty much everything we need to know about Modern Warfare 2. And it's really exciting looking. I'm so pumped for this game because they It's the same studio that made Modern Warfare in 2019 and Warzone. They're the ones that like kind of revamped Call of Duty back then.
So they're kind of like the more innovative of.
Yeah, innovative, and like they have like the real like vision for Call of Duty and what Call of Duty should be and stand for, whereas the other studios are just kind of like throwing things out there that really make no sense.
I'm not a huge Call of Duty guy. I enjoy playing with you guys occasionally. I love what they do because Call of Duty comes out yearly, correct?
Correct.
But
I
they
mean,
have 3 studios. So
they have 3 head studios. They have probably about
but so like
10 or 12 like studios in total
but
developing Call of Duty.
like one head studio only has to release one game every 3 years.
Correct.
That's so much better than what most yearly games do that I know of. I don't
Yeah.
like because you actually have time to build a game.
Right.
I mean, 3 years isn't a lot of time, but when you already have a lot of the assets and stuff, that probably helps. But
Yeah. I mean, yeah, 3 years isn't a lot nowadays, but yeah, as long as you have something to build off of, it's not too bad. Um, but with this game, it looks like they like took what like really really worked in the last Modern Warfare, and like which was already like a stellar game, and they just like polished it and like added new stuff to where it actually like seems like it's going to make a difference instead of just kind of like we were talking about with Madden, like it's just another game, and it like there might be like a few changes here and there, but it's like basically the same game. And you know, people outside of the Call of Duty community who don't play it, who literally just see it as a shooter, would say like, "Oh yeah, that's the same game every year. It's just you're a soldier, you got a gun, you shoot people. It's always the same." It's like, "Yeah, but when you're playing it every year, you notice the differences, and like they do improve every year, but sometimes they don't improve every year." And
so obviously, there's certain ones where it is very noticeable and clear. But can you usually feel the difference just in like the FPS, like motion and mechanics, like year to year? I know obviously some like Advanced Warfare you can like fly around and stuff, but um, or is it more the campaign is the big difference and game modes and stuff like
I'm mostly talking about like features and
that? Features, that's the word I'm looking for.
like the polish and the like gameplay and everything, which is what this game is really like going for. Like obviously it's going to have a new campaign which looks really good, and like it's going to have Warzone 2.0 which comes out in November, just like 2 weeks later. Um it's going to have Spec Ops again, which is like the co-op missions,
Will
and
Warzone 2.0 be free?
new map that's going to be like even bigger.
We'll have to hop on. I'll play that with you when that comes out. That'll be fun.
That's gonna be really fun. But like, there's gonna be like water areas and like boats, and you can like go underwater and like shoot underwater, and you can shoot out of your vehicles now, which is crazy that you couldn't do that before. But
I didn't even notice that.
yeah, you can't shoot out of your like
Couldn't
cars and stuff.
Couldn't you ride in like the back of one and
Yeah,
shoot?
like trucks, you could like ride in the back, but you couldn't like lean out the window and shoot.
Yeah. So
Which
like
is
the
weird.
driver still can't shoot, but you can sit as like a passenger and shoot now.
Yeah.
Nice.
And you can even like get out and get on the roof of the car and shoot from the roof. Yeah,
That sounds really cool.
It looks so fun, and like you can grab on a ledge of like a wall and like shoot from the ledge and stuff. It There's just so many little things that they added, and so the beta for multiplayer started this weekend, and so I played it last night for the first time, and it's the
Awesome.
smoothest first-person shooter that I have ever played.
Yeah, I'm excited to try out the Warzone 2.0.
Yeah. So
I probably won't do much with the rest of the game.
there's a chance it could come to Game Pass eventually. So.
Yeah, and at that point, I would definitely play it at least some, at least with you guys.
Yeah. So, that's pretty much all I wanted to cover. Just kind of the excitement for Call of Duty. and it seems like most other people are like pretty excited. They had that huge Call of Duty Next event where they brought in like basically every major streamer to like come like play the game and like stream it and everything like all in one room, which was pretty cool to see. And I think the reaction from them was like mostly positive. So
Yeah. Nice.
for it.
Something good happening in gaming. I'll take it.
There's a lot of good things happening in gaming. It's just not what makes it in the headlines. So
That might be about it for today.
yeah.
Oh, it looks like we've got one other discussion note.
Well, I'll save the discussion for the TV shows that are going on. It's a huge like season for TV shows right now. Like we've got the Game of Thrones spinoff, House of Dragon, the Lord of the Rings spinoff, the Rings of Power, the Marvel She-Hulk show, and Star Wars Andor is starting next week. So it's like 4 huge franchise shows are like all airing at once, and so it's like kind of hard to keep up with them, but
No, I won't.
it's just kind of fun. Like basically every night you kind of have something like big to look forward to watching. So it's been kind of fun to keep up with that.
Yeah, nice.
So I want to have other people on that have watched it, and so we can kind of discuss it. We won't do any more like just like episode deep dives like we did with Obi-Wan, because that was just too much to keep up with and too stressful to get people scheduled for and to come on to talk with me about. So we're going to just kind of keep it more casual and just kind of like talk about it more in general.
I think that'll be good. I'm excited to start having more guests on if we're able to do that. I think it brings a whole different level of energy.
Yeah, for sure.
It's just great getting to hang out with friends, and then we just put it on video and let you guys watch. So
yeah, it ends up just being us like being stupid with each other.
Yeah,
like we are off camera anyways. So.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm excited for that. Hopefully we can get some guests. I don't know how hard it'll be with everyone's busy schedules.
Yeah, everyone's so busy. But now that summer's kind of getting, died down a little bit, people are getting back in their like normal swing of things and should have more of a like normal schedule, I think.
I've definitely got a list of people already that I want to have on. So we're going to be entering a fun season of podcasting.
Yeah, so make sure you like follow us on all the social media platforms, and if you're not subscribed on YouTube, subscribe there and like the videos and all that kind of stuff. It really helps with
algorithms and
algorithms and just our success in general,
and my ego.
David's ego needs to be stroked a lot, so you should share it if you do like it and think other people would enjoy it. And otherwise, just keep on listening and check out the rest of our stuff coming soon.
See ya.
Bye.